good night. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM radio next Wednesday night. Warm. You know, I get no cold time again, alright, you know, it's warm. We're there until 2 o'clock. I hope you can join me and stay with me until 2 o'clock. The election just passed in South Africa. And if you don't mind sharp, white people come take over, well, I say take over back at South Africa because them still have it in a certain way, but politically, if you don't mind sharp, white people come take over back the country politically. That is really distressing, given the amount of blood we shed, the amount of mothers will cry and bawl for them children to make South Africa end the apartheid regime. Only if you come say, we have now villages of whites. Yes? You have villages of whites where the black no enter there. In a South Africa, me I talk about. White people set up them own laws in a South Africa. Can you imagine if you go in a Germany or France and black people set up them own law in a little part of France or Germany? That is, it come like Rome, it come like the Vatican City. Because the Vatican City, if you do it in Italy, but it's not governed by the Italian government. It is a state within itself. The Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, run by the Pope and him friend them. Can you imagine that? In South Africa, the thousands of black people were dead, jailed, murdered, and all these things. To come really say, white people come govern the country again because of some unscrupulous little black people who claim political leverage. The ANC was the government from 19 or what since apartheid. And now it is struggling. It's struggling. It couldn't even get 50% of the vote them in South Africa the other day. It is struggling now. You see what happened, and I'm talking about coalition government. And the next party that have the most, other than the ANC, is a white party governed by a white man who is very, very apartheid in his outlook. And if you give him the chance, South Africa will be under white minority rule again. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. Take the first break. So, South Africa, lep on the lips here. And we are saying, given that South Africa was the first country to carry Israeli go to the court, the world court. We have to give them a big round of applause for that. Yes, big round of applause. Them lead the fight for the Palestinians them on the world stage. And why that happened is because they can remember when they were in the same position as the Palestinians with them land and how the Dutch and all these people from Europe come over there, come rob, rape and thief the land from the South African people. So with that in mind, them rise up against Israel for the cause of the Palestinians and know that the same system that governed them years ago It's the same system known as apartheid that Israel is now using in Palestine. But we must consider and we must understand, them say, fire there must stay, them think a cool breeze. We must remember that white people is just keeping, what them call it, keeping step in line with their intentions and that land them call South Africa, Azania as we call it. And they slowly but surely creeping into the capture mode. You have a brother named Malima, he was an ANC man one time, but him have him own party now. And him running at the election, I think him come like fourth behind Zuma party, where him say, one of him thing is if him going power, him going to take back the land without compensation. Take back the land from the white people without compensation. I guess them afraid of that, because when a man get up so boldly and say, I'll take back the land without compensation, it's like Mugabe, where the side say, white people planting too much flowers on them land to send to Europe. Because the white people farm in Zimbabwe. It's farm, them have farm flowers and all sort of little flowers for selling in Europe. It wasn't about feeding Africa, feeding Zimbabwe. And Mugabe, this time, they will take away the land from them without compensation, send them back where them come from. And he was vilified because of that. Chase him out of the Commonwealth of Nations, where him no mind. Never mind it. But we have to take a stock and look at what's going on in Southern Africa. I mean, there are other places to look at. We can talk about Democratic Republic of the Congo. We can talk about Sudan. All these places that is hot spot in Africa right now, where don't get much coverage, especially in the Sudan there, where thousands of people, refugees, is moving out, moving across, trying to find places to go. It's like a hell. You talk about Israel and Palestinians. You want to see the refugee crisis in South Sudan. Don't get much covered in the West, yeah. But it's a terrible thing going on in there, just like in the Congo. The Congo is one of them hot spots in the world right now, where England and America foot in the sink in a mud, them foot sink in a mud out and get stuck. It was some cement to make them foot stay there. And you have scrupulous African leader, the president of that country were right beside it there. And a man did come to Jamaica already too, the other day. Them hug him up and kiss him up. Rwanda. Big Rwanda. Them help England and America to create havoc in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We see it and we see it. We see it, we know it. It's not like we're idiots, we know it. The African, them have to know it like how we know it. Take a next break and come forward. Yes, today we're going to continue. We're supposed to interview Cathy Howell, this month is Leonard Howell month. For those of you who don't know who Leonard Howell is, it's a shame you don't know. Leonard Howell was the man who rise up in Jamaica and tell the people them say they must stop worship the King of England. Stop seeing him as them king. 1930, when Haile Selassie crowned, him realize, watch a man, we have a king. His name is Emperor Haile Selassie I, and his him we should all look towards. For that he was jailed many times, then put him in a Bellevue many times. All sort of thing, mashed on him community in a upper Sligoville, near Sligoville. And it was self-sufficient, self-reliance. Leonard Howell set up Upper Pinnacle. Set it up. And again, the government of Jamaica, Bustamante, from them time there, attack Rasta. Yeah, man. From them time there, he attack Rasta. And even though they wasn't called Rastafari at the time, it was the Howellites, followers of Leonard Howell. Well, Leonard Howell declared Haile Selassie. I remember them used to walk around with pictures of Haile Selassie. Big picture to around them neck. Like you'd have put on a pendant. The picture them was pendant. Leonard Howell opened a floodgate of a group of people that is now known as the Rastafari movement. And it spread all over the world, not through any building, church building, school building, hospital building, but through the inspiration and the cultural expression of Rastafari. It spread all over. All over. And we're still there. We weren't supposed to there. We weren't supposed to there, but we're still there. Give thanks. And many come and many gone. Rastafari is still there. I trod and I talk about liberation for African people. And though some people turn it in a religion, it still manifests itself as a revolutionary force to be reckoned with by the establishment. And we'll continue that machine, we call propaganda machine, known as music, that is mostly used by the Rastafari movement to propagate them philosophy and opinions. Them cultural expression is very, very, very high on the agenda of cultural expression in the world. Not just in Jamaica, in the world. If you go to any festival in Europe, any festival, go in at the stall them. There's not one stall there that is not projecting something culturally Rastafari. Not one. So Rastafari has blazed a trail that cannot turn back, no matter what them do. No matter what them do, it can't turn back. We want to see how the interview stayed. We were supposed to be interviewing. Not getting through yet, all right. So I'm going to go and play this by History Man. Very telling brethren this. The brethren, trust me, man, it come like an AI. We never talk about the biography of our national heroes and international heroes. They have it to a key, to a part musically. Yes, Leonard Howell. I don't know how much youth we take it up on themselves right now and go find some information about that man. Because you see a group of people walking around the place and saying, Jah Rastafari. And them ear look funny. And them say them not eat certain food. And them hear them talk about Africa regular. Well, that man where you hear them call Leonard Howell is one of the men them who responsible for where go on now as it relates to Rastafari and them worldview. Leonard Howell. Make that sink in your head. Leonard Howell. A man to know about, just like how you hear about Marcus Garvey and you hear about other people. Leonard Howell is a man where most Jamaicans should have known about, because one of the most influential cultural expression and musical expression come from out of the Rastafari community. Yes, the lyrics of reggae music is what caused reggae to spread all over the world, like how it spread. The Rastaman cultural expression, lax, is now something that is mimicked by people in Mexico, in Taiwan, Taiwan, Indonesia, India. Them have lax wig, influenced by the Rastafari movement. The idea of a vegetarian diet, according to what them call diet, wasn't invented by Rastafari, but the cultural expression of Rastafari spread it more than any other group you can find in the world. Even though a whole heap of people into vegetarian thing. But we give the world something greater than vegetarian. We give ital. Yeah, ital we call it. Very important. We take it further. And now we say so much places and people in the Western world is into this vegan, plant-based, lacto-vegetarian, all sort of things them call themselves. And this was influenced by the Rastafari movement. How much you ever hear about the book named The Promised Key? The Promised Key is a book where most one should have read who say them is Rasta. Because, oh, you see man have the expression here right now. And also Leonard Howell didn't vision it. No, I never see it. Oh, I see certain man are going and I say Rasta this and Rasta that and say them a Rasta and all them really. If you read The Promised Key, you realize that that man there, whole heap of things, him say different. That's why a whole heap of the so-called elders say certain things and react certain way. And now I hear people call me elder. I hear people call me elder. As I said, this weekend is the celebration of Leonard Howell's birthday. The man who come in at Jamaica and tell the people them say must let go off of the King of England. See, we have a king named Haile Selassie. We have him daughter upon the line here. Cathy Howell, good night.
Good night to you, my brother.
How you do? Long time I don't see you or hear from you. I'm going to see you upon the internet. Pure internet business.
Well, you know, it's technology. You know, lots of times people don't even try to make phone call anymore. All they do is sit on their phones and do text messages. But, you know that, our heart is in the right place. So,
all right. We notice that usually we get maybe a flyers or a thing about celebration up at Pinnacle. But I see flyers come to me and the celebration is down at House of Dread, down at Dina Road.
Right. So yeah, let me just explain that and make it clear. Last year we actually had the celebration at Pinnacle, and we had a little problem with the it's not a little problem, actually. The tabernacle needs to be refurbished.
Okay.
And we were actually trying to get people to commit to come together and furbish the tabernacle, but it just wasn't able to get done for his Earth Strong this year. So this is the 26th Earth Day celebration, and it's going to be at House of Dread.
Yeah, that's beside Country Farm, behind Country Farmhouse.
Is that where it is? House of Dread behind Country Farm Road. Actually, it's 3 Dinner Road, Kingston 16.
Yeah.
And this is going to be on Sunday, the 16th of June. It starts at about 4 p.m. We're going to have guest speaker, Dr. Michael Barnett, myself, Jack Tanash, and
Calamari Knife.
Right, and Knife, right? We're also going to have some musical tribute to Leonard Howell, and we're going to have a couple culture artists and guests, people who are going to be there, special guests, artists going to be performing. Of course, we're going to have our Rasta drumming and chanting. Yeah. So we're asking everyone to come out and celebrate with us.
So is anyone from Pinnacle will be there, drumming and thing?
Oh yes. Actually, we're trying to get the Owlites, the original Owlites offsprings, to come over also and do some drumming also there. So it's going to be a good, exciting time. So, each and everyone that's listening to my voice, please, show up. Just show up.
Yeah. All right. A whole heap of people talk about Leonard Howell. Leonard Howell wrote something. I was just talking about the Promise Key a while ago.
Yeah.
And I know I think Miguel did print it back. I don't know if it's still available. Is there a move afoot by the family to really get back a lot of these writings by Leonard Howell to the public?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because we are definitely in conversation, trying to redo his book, The Promise Key, and there were other people out there that have asked me how they can, really get some of the books that's been written, and of course we also had a couple other people who have, wrote several books on Leonard Howell. So maybe at the celebration, we can probably, speak on that some more.
Yeah, I know a French lady do one.
Yes.
The first Rasta.
Right. Yes.
I don't think they need for going an e-book now. I mean, I was talking to your brother. I talked to him. I think Manny was in Cote d'Ivoire 1 year, and was talking about the whole thing. But I don't see no movement towards really keeping Leonard Howell alive, as we should say.
Well, you mean keeping his legacy alive?
Yeah, apart from just a celebration every birthday, you know what I mean?
And that's true, because Howell was a genius, and his vision was beyond its time. I know that I didn't even see him as an ordinary man, because I know he had a burning his desire for black supremacy was just, awesome. And when he when he came back, to Jamaica in the 1930s on the coronation of His Imperial Majesty, he printed a black man as God, King Rastafari, saying, His Majesty is head over all man, for he is the supreme God. You know that the white, you know that the Caucasian did not like that. You know, none of them didn't like that. And of course, you know, many of my father's followers saw him as a man who was a counselor, preacher, and a defender of the faith of Rastafari. You know, my father was Uncle Percy, brother, and many called him Gang. Some even say he had more than just word among the poor people. And many who know him as a hero. You know, my father's greatest achievement was the way he had unite and centralized and organized the people there in Pinnacle. And for me, you know, that was just really, really, really awesome. It just, you know, come to the point where, you know, I think that I am right now working towards getting parcels of those lots in Pinnacle to become a heritage site. And of course, Leonard Howell Foundation is definitely agitating for, you know, the internal repatriation or reparation for the original Rasta, them who call themselves the Howardites, who had lived in the estate of Pinnacle, and their offspring right now are living in a lot of deplorable condition and poverty. And I think that the government of Jamaica really need to do something. They have to go beyond just the 6 lots for reparation for the atrocity and the trauma that the Howardites endure, and even their children. And a simple apology is not even enough, and material compensation is not even enough. The government has just have to go beyond.
So the government did apologize for the breaking down of Pinnacle.
Well, you know, I think there was
they apologized for the Coral Garden thing.
I think it was something like Coral Gardens or something like that.
No, man, it's Pinnacle we are talking about, you know.
Yeah. You know,
most man to match it down same way, you know.
Let me tell you something, you know, I mean, Howell was the first to have the faith and courage to establish and purchase the estate of St. Catherine, you know, and where the teaching of His Majesty, the King of Ethiopia, could put into practice and for the world to see. And, you know, Pinnacle is definitely, I mean, a model of Zion as far as I'm concerned, you know. Where
everything was growing up there.
Exactly, you know.
Shoes and make some part of them and all them.
Where Pinnacle is really the height of where you...
Hello? Our phone cut off?
No.
Oh, no cut off. We are going there, so she gone, she cut off. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, but Leonard Howell create a situation in a Pinnacle where self-reliance is what we call it now, where people are talking about self-reliance. It was like a city, like a town inside a city where them grow them own food, make them own clothes, and plant herbs. And man knows, say, well, boy, him can go down to the market and sell certain things and things. And the unscrupulous behavior of the government, again, against the Rastafarian movement. Them go up, they go mash it down, and this, all of the Rasta them have to disperse. That is how Rasta reach down all Bakawal, where them call Bakawal. You know, it now called Tivoli Garden. You know, Rasta end up all a whole heap of place where Rasta never intend to go. Because the community was so established that man never did have to go out to go work. You know, see, because everything was up there. And we are talking about hundreds of people. We're not talking about a little organization, a little group. We are talking about hundreds of people was in Pinnacle in a them time there. And the government and the Bossa man to mash it down. That was one of the first match down of Rastafari in Jamaica until 1963. 63, don't want to get the wrong name. 1 year after independence, them come again and start a thing against Rasta again in a St. James. So it's not like, say, Rasta never have things going. But once again, the government step in and broke with that cornerstone. That man a walk around and have call you black heart man and them something. I will if them black heart man they up a Pinnacle. But truth match down them they have to walk the street. You Bunny will sing a tune about the black heart man. A very good description of what take place in them time there. Man end up all in a Warwicker Hill and all them place. Enough time or we'll go to prison. Him go to prison, him go to Bellevue. I mean, you name it, him end up there. Because they must say I'm a madman. He must talk about the King Haile Selassie and don't praise the King of England. They must say King Haile Selassie. If a man walk around a colonial country with a picture of an emperor from another country and know that this was a British state, British colony, and you are walking around with an emperor way over Ethiopia where nobody don't know. And I say, him, I tell the Jamaican people, say, him are the one. That could not work. They will have to lock him up, sedition, madman, all sorts of things them put on him. And look what happened now. Look what happened now. Them never kill it. Them kill the man, they never kill them ideas. Look what happened now. Without building. Without church building. Rastafari is the most widely known group of people that gave what we call the modern society as so now in the Western world. Yeah. It's like a primitive intellectual manifestation the Rastafari is. And without any classroom building and church building, it was able to spread the culture of Rastafari all over the world. That all the picnic of the enemy end up about Rastafari. Very serious. You don't get her back yet? Them get her back. So that's why you know say it's not no. We will talk about Leonard Howell. The youth them should have go find the promise key. Find the promise key, man, and read it and you realize well Leonard Howell write in the promise key. I know where you see a whole heap of one run up and down now, say my Rasta, I know that Leonard Howell is a deal with. You know, see it? It's not just be frivolously flashing your locks and, you know, I go on like some hippie. It's a more serious thing like that for a man where go to prison so much time. You know, I think I yet to warn him there in a Sheraton Hotel. What if I don't know Sheraton Hotel? Sheraton Hotel in Kingston. A man who used to follow Marcus Garvey. And we there so now are hold the fort. For much years we are hold the fort. We thought we as Rastafari ones who they have to tell the tale and live out the tale too. Now just tell it, we are live it out. Because your Burning Spear say one of them come, them couldn't live it out. Two of them come, them couldn't live it out. Burning Spear say Ethiopia and live it out. Yes, ma'am, you're back on the line?
Yes.
Ah, yeah. All right. Yes.
Yes, so I'm sorry. It seems something went wrong. I don't know.
Yes, it's all right, man. It's all right. We're still up on the year.
Right.
All right, so tell me something. What is the foundation doing now to preserve Leonard Howell legacy? What are they doing now? I guess you are the president of it.
Well, yeah. I'm one of the directors. Yeah. Well, I'm one of the chair. There's me and my brother. That we're both two chairpersons of the LPH Foundation, and of course we have a director here in Jamaica, brother Michael Barnett, and a couple others. And I guess we really need to sort of call a meeting with the directors so we can at least have a plan of action, because I have formulated an action plan as to what we were going to do with the lots when we, of course, when it's finally assigned to us up there in Pinnacle.
But what are you saying supposed to be assigned to us? Over years now, I mean.
Yeah, it has been a long time, but because what's been happening, we have an organization here in Jamaica called Millennium Council, and I think they're looking for governance over Pinnacle. So whenever they have something going on with the government and the government wants to do something for us, they come in and they object that, they want to know that the government is talking about monument and they're not into monument, and, they're just objecting.
So what you think they should do? They should just go on with the monument. What a monument supposed to do for the people them up there, though?
Well,
putting up a monument up there.
I don't think it's a monument, because Dr. Barnett and myself went into.
Hello? Well, she gone again, Shane. Wow, serious thing. I was just going to ask her, objecting to a monument. I would object to it too, because I don't know, putting up a monument up there don't help the situation. More than you can just look on the monument. We're talking about concrete, move, repair the damage that the government do to the people them who live up there, and them children. Devastate the place up there and left the children of the people them who was devastated to look on a monument. No, sir. You want a stable thing that can help them physically. See it? Up there. That's what you need. And it's them burn down the place and disperse all the people them with it up there. It's something we should have looked on. Monument is a good thing, because monument remind you. But behind the memory must be a tangible situation that the people them can recognize and live every day. Running from Babylon. Bob Marley say, when him a big man, him stop run from police. Indelible music, running African, Jah Lewis. We just pay a tribute to Leonard Howell in the first part of the program, because the man there, trust me, if a man rise up so much ones, millions of ones from a different part of the world, from little Jamaica, it's a feat in itself, man. You have 12 tribes, one of the most known organization of Rastafari, 12 tribe of Israel. And in heights, in prime heights, whole heap of one all over the place, all over the world, used to declare themselves Israel, with them red, gold, and green tam, and I try to claim tribal connection with the 12 tribes of Israel according to Genesis 49. And then after Brother God passed away, the rising up of the bubble house rise up. And when you look on Kingston, a whole heap of the youth them start to wrap them head. And I say, holy man, you lie. You hear a whole heap of one start say it. Wrap them head and wear the robe. Well identifiable. No, we hardly see that go on. We hardly see that go on. No ones that fly them locks. Well, if a man now start to fly them locks, all the man who used to wrap up him head. First time you don't never see them locks, now them fly it. It's an evolution. Sometimes I wonder if the evolution will carry you down the pit. But the 12 tribe, what if I want, I myself I used to join 12 tribe. What if artists, Gregory Isaacs, not Gregory, you know Gregory Isaacs, Freddie McGregor, Judy Moore, Bob Marley, what if I want, why you love Jerry Small, one of the, what them call them now, the executive in the house. We used to call it house. But this brethren now used to play enough when Jalov used to keep them dance. But want to play me so now. He was from the tribe of Dan. Yes, we're there with you. So sad that we couldn't get forward the lady Cathy. The interview broke abruptly. But to go and continue, I want to know, say, I want real thing that, movie business, The Roman Catholic Church used to sell indulgence, meaning, say, if you do a whole heap of things terrible, and you feel so guilty, if you go to the Pope, you give him money, and he make sure so you get into heaven. That is what these people used to do, And them still do it too. Yeah, man. Them say, if you want to go to heaven, man, no care what you do. Just give them some money, Rasta. And them will get you into heaven. Because them is the only one who have the telephone number to God. Yes, that is the church for you. The Roman Catholic Church we are talking about. Yes, here we go.
These things as they may, I will now start to present the documentation. Thousands of years before Adam and Eve. And we know that Adam and Eve is the allegorical characters in the Hebrew book, a book called Genesis. And in order to speak about Adam and Eve, we must then give Adam and Eve a date if we are to say that there were no people before or all people came subsequently. Then we must establish a date for Adam and Eve. It is commonly stated in Western circles, particularly in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, that approximately 6,000 years ago, a god, the Jewish god Jehovah, and if you're Christian, then of course the Christian God Jesus the Christ, and obviously if you're Muslim, then it is the Muslim God Allah, created this world. Now that is difficult for me to understand when you consider that 6,000 years ago, my people along the Nile were doing engineering, science, law, medicine, and a host of other disciplines. Yet the world wasn't here yet. Now I do not know which world they were operating under. But then let us explore at who could have possibly brought about the concept of an Adam and Eve, since it is that it is only in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam you find these two allegorical characters. Since it is that we find it for the first time in the Hebrew Bible, or Jewish Bible, a Bible called the Chumash or the Pentateuch, and such other name, as well as the Torah, otherwise called the 5 books of Moses, we would find that the Jews presented this for the first time to the world. We must then find who are the Jews that presented it, since all the Jews did not write it. The first time we are to have the Adam and Eve concept comes out of the Jewish intellectual circle, a system called the Sanhedrin, S-A-N-H-E-D-R-I-N. The Sanhedrin put out that book, or started to write that book, in approximately 700 BC, and completed it around 500 BC. The person to whom they gave credit for the story of bringing into the world the concept of Jehovah, the Jewish God, Yahweh, was a man called Avram, A-V-R-M, who changed his name to Abraham, assuming, we must assume, as he stated, that an angel of this God came to him while at state in a dream. You would find that all of the prophets got their messages by dreams. And all of the other writers got their state of information by dream. Not a solitary one being sober at the time and at a state of consciousness. But we find that Abraham was not born till approximately 1775 BC. This will put Abraham's birth sometime between the 13th dynastic period of the Africans of the Nile Valley. Meaning then, if we are to use the chronological data of most Western European writers, who gave the first dynastic period of Egypt anywhere from about 5000 BC to about 3100 BC, we will find then that at least the first dynasty of the Africans was at minimum more than 1500 years before the birth of the first Jew, Abraham. More so, that Abraham himself, based upon the Jews, along with his own parents, were worshiping an African goddess by the name of Hathor, symbolized by a cow with a sun disk between her horns. The sun disk symbolizing Amen-Ra, the god of the ancient Africans of the Nile, not only Egypt, Amen being the god of the north and Ra being the god of the south. When Nama, this African king, fought Scorpio, the other king, the king to the north, himself to the south, defeated Scorpio, joined the two states into one, making one Egypt, or the beginning of dynastic Egypt. That combination of the two states, bringing the two concepts of God, Amen and Ra, created for the Egyptians and others in that area a single unity, a single deity by the name of Amen-Ra. Now, the Africans along the Nile, and in particular Egypt, had already worshipped a god by the name of Ptah, or Ptah, P-T-A-H. Ptah was the god prior to the first dynasty and the prominent god up until the third dynasty. Sometime around the third dynasty, we find that the ancient Africans of Egypt, otherwise called Egyptians today, introduced another god, and that was the god Amen-Ra. Well, let us go further. Along with the introduction of Ptah and Amen-Ra were other sources of information relating to deity. One, it was at that time that the Africans revised their sacred book, their Bible, a book called the book of the coming forth by day and by night, to which an Englishman by the name of Ernest A. Wallace Budge, in his translation from the hieratic writing, one of the most ancient writings to date by the Africans, part of what is today called hieroglyph, Budge translating that did not take the literary translation of the title, but took one of these, we would say, titles that would draw attention and call it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, using Budge's description for it, we will find an important section. That section is called the Osirian drama. Osiris was in the extology of the ancient Africans of the Nile, the god who was the direct son. This one should bring a lot of attention to most of you. The direct son of the god Amun-Ra or Ptah, depending on what period of time you're speaking about. Osiris was the god whose mother had him by a virgin birth, whose mother conceived him by an immaculate conception. I am speaking about 4,100 years before Jesus the Christ. May I repeat that because it may be difficult for many of you. I said that Osiris, the god I'm speaking about, who is sometimes said to be simultaneously Horus, and at other times the father of Horus. Irrespective, let us replace him with Horus. And he becomes the father of Horus. Therefore, what we have here is that the father Osiris, the son of the god Ptah, had a child who was supposedly conceived by his mother, the goddess Isis, and who gave birth to Horus by a virgin birth 4,100 years before Mary did the same thing again. Now, this should be difficult to a lot of you born-again Christians, because you have been told that the first and only time that such a story was told was 1982 years ago. Let me not disappoint you further by saying that Jesus is the last of 16 such crucified saviors.
Yes, that is Ben Buchanan. You know, I remember him twice before he passed away. All these books when he write should be had by all the ones who are searching for the African origin of things. Ben Buchanan, Ethiopian virgin, who lived in Harlem, passed away several years ago. Very important scholar. Where ones and one should have read. Yes, read we are talking about, read. We are telling you that this is now midnight in Jamaica, 12 o'clock. Yes. We will continue with the Ben Buchanan schoolroom, you know, yes. We will continue with it.
The African who existed in history, and they say history is when a people begins to write. That starts their history. That means there is no history for Greece until Homer wrote the Iliad and the... There is no other written record in Europe until Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Which was when?
833 before the Common Era. And Homer said in the Odyssey, quote, the gods Zeus and Apollo came from Ethiopia, unquote. Zeus and Apollo is known as Greece's first two gods. And Homer himself, the first Greek writer, said they came from Ethiopia. The Egyptian writer, Hunefer, Hunefer, in the papyrus of Hunefer, said, quote, we came from the beginning of the Nile, where God happy dwells at the foothills of the mountain of the moon, unquote. Secondly, when the Africans wrote and created writing, there was no God, Jehovah yet, no Adam and Eve yet. The first Hebrew, Abraham, was not born. Abraham is not born until at best 1346 before the Common Era in the city of Ur in Chaldea. Chaldea is about where modern day Iraq, just south of it is, where the Tigris and Euphrates meet. Now, when Abraham was born is equivalent to the 13th dynasty, just around the time when a people called the Shepherd Kings, or Hyksos, invaded the northern part of this land, around the delta. And they did not come any further south than a place called Avris. And they're still in the delta. For instance, Hyksos have never been this far. They have never been as far as Cairo. And Cairo is an old city. The oldest it could go back in Fustat. And it was made by the conquerors during the time of Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali wasn't even an Arab. He was an Albanian who took on the name Muhammad Ali. Now, when he converted to Islam to get the throne. If we go back further, not a single Hebrew was in this land until then, unless he was astray. There was a single nation. There was nobody named Abraham. Abraham's mother and father did not follow what we call Judaism today. Terah, his father, worshipped an African woman. An African woman you will see right across here, called Hathor. Hathao. That's the Western spelling. The correct name is Het Heru. Het-Hero. You will see her and the funerary temple of Queen Abnakari Hatshepsut. She is shown as a cow. And when she is shown as a woman, it's an African woman with cow's ears. The best place you will see her is at a temple dedicated solely to her at a place called Dendera. Then you will see thousands of faces of her, especially in the Hypostyle Hall. The Hebrews in the first book, the book called Genesis, which means first, they showed that Abraham worshipped the golden calf. India calling the sacred cow. But the golden calf is nothing else but goddess Hathor. Now, that's the 13th dynasty. If we go back to find out all that was done by the time of the 13th dynasty here, before the first Asian, there is no European history then. The Etruscans, the first of European, along with the people of Perth, which later became the Romans and the Greeks, are not in history then. That don't say they don't exist, but there are no records of them. There's no record of an Adam or an Eve. Then no God, no Jehovah, no Jesus, no Allah. Then,
but the Africans were already.
But African got Ptah. I'm going at random. I could knock them off. Let me go. Since African God had goddesses, I mean, they weren't eunuchs or anything like that. So the Africans had Ptah, right? They had Nut. They had Osiris. They had Isis. And by the way, I could use the proper name. When I say Osiris, they had Asaru. When I say Isis, they had Aset. They had his son, the Trinity. They had Asaru's son, Heru or Horus, born of an immaculate concepted mother. He himself born of a virgin birth, which you can see the story at the temple of Seti I at a place called Abydos. And Seti I was the a king, a 19th dynasty king. The Africans equally had numerous other goddesses and gods.
Yes. Dennis Brown, Heine Kamuza, and yours truly, great kings of Africa. Yeah, man. We are explorer. We are explorer. Because we know, say, Rastafari bring me righteous. Bring me righteous. Rastafari bring me. And I could have never be ungrateful. Because if it wasn't Rasta, I wouldn't explore so much things. I wouldn't have that confidence in myself. As Marcus Garvey said, confidence in yourself is the greatest thing, man. When you know where you are, though, and you don't blink, and you don't become no statue and nobody footstool, you just continue the journey straight like an arrow. You just straight. You know, lean and bend. Because that is the way of the truth and the understanding of yourself. When you take in everything, but don't keep all the things that you take in. Because you know you have your mouth and you have your bottom. So a man will take in everything, but him let out a whole heap of things, and a whole heap of things stay in him and becomes part of him. So we have to understand that. You read, you look, you listen, you pay attention, and in all of that, you must come out a better person. You study and imagine, because the greatest thing you have is your imagination, you know. Your imagination carry you go anywhere. And you can do anything in your imagination. So when we say Africa, great kings of Africa, we don't talk about great Bible heroes. We talk about African people who actually live on earth. Not in no delusion and illusion and confusion. When we say Africa, it's a real place. When I was a youth and I hear about Egypt, I never know that it's real. I think it was somewhere in the sky. So again, for understand, so geographically, Egypt is a place where give birth to a whole heap of the concepts that now form religion. Whole heap of the concepts that now form religion come out of Egypt. We're going to take a break and come forward. This is a condition. Yes, the whole we have to believe it. And we don't know it. We say time and time. Hey, the brother that we just talk named Ray Higgins. We had him in the studio. I remember bringing him up to the Marcus Garvey tribute. We have him in the studio the whole night. I talk on topic as it relates to Christianity. You know, very interesting and important that we hear the other side of the story. Because on one side they're not working. It has not been working. It has not been working. And there is a truth. We need to find it. We need to find it. Because things mess up. And part of the messing up is from those stories that we get taught when we was going to school and Sunday school and church, and then perpetuate the same madness in the church from them time that they know. And I tell you about, there's a man that is in the sky, that him dead, and him going to come back. Him flesh never see corruption, that means the same flesh. Him would have on the same clothes too. Terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing. Time is 16 minutes past 1 o'clock. You know, all the one them in a foreign who know them kind of music, you know. Dub style, yes. Not flip side business, not no version. Original side one of this 45. Dub.